bank statement arrived on a Thursday. I almost didn't open it. For 43 years of marriage, I'd let my husband Kenneth handle the finances. He was an accountant after all. Numbers were his specialty. I trusted him the way you trust gravity. Completely without question, because the alternative was unthinkable. But Kenneth had died 3 weeks earlier. Sudden heart attack at his desk. He was gone before the ambulance arrived. And now I was alone with paperwork I didn't understand and accounts I'd never managed. The statement was for our joint savings account, the one we'd built together over decades. The emergency fund, Kenneth had called it, our security blanket for retirement. According to the statement, the balance was $1,247. $1,147 in an account that should have had close to $400,000. I read the number 3 times thinking it was a mistake, a typo. Maybe they'd sent me the wrong statement. Maybe this was some other account I didn't know about. But there, at the top of the page, was my name and Kenneth's name, joint account holders, and a transaction history that made my blood run cold. Over the past 2 years, Kenneth had made systematic withdrawals, $5,000 here, $10,000 there, larger transfers to accounts I didn't recognize. By the time of his death, he'd emptied nearly every cent we'd saved. I sat at the kitchen table with the statement in my trembling hands, trying to understand. Where had the money gone? Why had he taken it? What had he been doing with $400,000 without telling me? That's when I found the second bank statement. It had been mixed in with Kenneth's papers, which I'd been slowly sorting through. This one was for an account in his name only, an account I'd never known existed. Balance $0. But the transaction history told a story. Regular deposits over 2 years, the exact amounts that had been withdrawn from our joint account. Then, 3 months ago, a massive withdrawal. $390,000, transferred to an account belonging to someone named Justin Mallory. Justin Mallory. The name was familiar, but I couldn't place it immediately. Then I remembered. Kenneth's nephew, his sister Patricia's son, a boy. No, he'd be 35 now, who'd always been Kenneth's favorite. Kenneth had helped put him through college, had gotten him his first job, had always talked about him with a pride he never quite showed toward anyone else. I called Patricia that afternoon. We'd never been close. She'd always been polite but distant, the kind of family member you see at holidays and funerals, but never really know. Patricia, it's Evelyn, Kenneth's wife. Oh, Evelyn, I'm so sorry about Kenneth. The funeral was lovely. Thank you. I'm calling because I have a question about Justin, your son. A pause. What about him? Has Kenneth been in contact with him recently? In the past few months? Another pause, longer this time. Why are you asking? Because I've discovered that Kenneth transferred a significant amount of money to Justin before he died. I'm trying to understand why. I don't know anything about that. Her voice had changed. Cooler, defensive. Patricia, I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I just need to understand what happened to our savings. Your savings? She laughed, but it wasn't a friendly sound. Evelyn, Kenneth told me years ago that he kept his finances separate from you. He said you didn't understand money, that he had to manage everything because you couldn't be trusted with it. The words stung, not because they were true, but because Kenneth had apparently been saying them behind my back. Did he tell you why he gave Justin nearly $400,000? He didn't give it to Justin. He left it to him. Kenneth knew he was dying. He had heart problems for years. He wanted to make sure Justin was taken care of. He knew he was dying? I felt the room tilt. What are you talking about? His heart condition. He'd known for 3 years. Didn't he tell you? Number. He hadn't told me. Kenneth had hidden a terminal diagnosis, had systematically moved our life savings to his nephew, and had died leaving me with almost nothing. I need to speak to Justin, I said. Justin doesn't want to talk to you. Kenneth specifically told him not to. He said you'd try to contest the inheritance, that you'd make trouble. Inheritance? Patricia, that wasn't inheritance. That was our joint savings. Money I helped earn, helped save. Kenneth didn't have the right to give it away without telling me. He had every right. It was his money. He earned it. You were just a housewife. Just a housewife. As if raising 3 children, managing a home, supporting Kenneth's career for 4 decades was nothing. As if the years I'd worked before the children were born Putting Kenneth through his accounting certification meant nothing. "I'm going to talk to a lawyer," I said quietly. "You do that." But Kenneth was very clear about what he wanted, and Justin has the money now. There's nothing you can do about it. She hung up. I sat in the silence of my kitchen, surrounded by 43 years of memories. Photos on the walls, Kenneth's coffee mug still in the sink, his reading glasses on the table, and somewhere underneath all of it, a betrayal so complete that I still couldn't fully process it. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Patricia's words. Kenneth knew he was dying. 3 years he'd known. 3 years of lying to me every single day. 3 years of planning how to give away our money without my knowledge. The next morning, I called a lawyer. Her name was Rebecca Torres, and she specialized in estate law. I explained the situation, the emptied account, the transfer to Justin, Kenneth's secret diagnosis. "Mrs. Palmer," Rebecca said after listening carefully, "this is going to be difficult. If Kenneth transferred the money before he died, it's technically a gift, not an inheritance. Gifts made while someone is alive are generally legal, even if morally questionable. But it was our joint savings. I had a right to that money. Did you have to co-sign for the withdrawal? It was a joint account. Either of us could withdraw from it. Then legally, he had the right to take the money out. The question is whether he had the right to gift it to someone else. But proving that you're entitled to it back, that's going to be very challenging, especially if Justin claims it was always intended for him." "So he just gets away with it? Kenneth steals our life savings, gives it to his nephew, and there's nothing I can do?" Rebecca was quiet for a moment. "There might be something, but it would require you to think strategically, creatively, even." "I'm listening." "Justin has the money now, but he believes it was a legitimate gift from Kenneth. If you could prove Kenneth wasn't of sound mind when he made the transfer, or that the transfer was made under duress, you might have a case. But that's a long shot. What might be more effective is persuading Justin to return the money voluntarily. Why would he do that? If he believed that keeping it would have consequences, legal, social, or otherwise. I didn't fully understand what she meant at the time, but over the next few weeks, as I learned more about Kenneth's final years, a plan began to form. I hired a private investigator named Marcus Chen. I gave him everything I had, Kenneth's papers, bank statements, medical records I'd found hidden in his office. I asked him to find out exactly what had happened during those 3 years Kenneth had been hiding his diagnosis. What Marcus discovered made everything clear. Kenneth hadn't just hidden his condition from me. He'd been planning his exit strategy for years. He'd taken out additional life insurance policies with Patricia's family as beneficiaries. He'd transferred ownership of his car to Justin. He'd even prepaid for his funeral and burial plot, choosing everything without consulting me. But the most damaging discovery was a series of emails between Kenneth and Justin. Marcus found them on an old laptop of Kenneth's that had been in his office. The emails detailed Kenneth's entire plan. How he'd been moving money gradually to avoid suspicion. How he'd told Justin to keep everything quiet until after his death. How he'd specifically instructed Justin to stonewall me if I asked questions. One email, dated 4 months before Kenneth's death, was particularly clear. "Justin, by the time you read this, I'll be gone. The money is yours. Don't let Evelyn guilt you into giving any of it back. She didn't earn it. She didn't build my career. She was just along for the ride. You deserve this money because you understand the value of hard work and ambition. Make me proud." Reading those words hurt more than anything else. 43 years reduced to along for the ride, but they also gave me leverage. I spent the next month laying the groundwork. I didn't contact Justin or Patricia. I didn't threaten legal action. Instead, I did something Kenneth would never have expected from just a housewife. I became strategic. First, I had Rebecca draft a document that looked like a legal notice. It outlined a lawsuit for fraudulent transfer of marital assets, elder financial abuse, and conspiracy to defraud. The language was dense, official, terrifying. It cited precedents where family members had been forced to return gifts and pay punitive damages. It mentioned potential criminal charges. But I didn't file it. Not yet. Second, I contacted several of Kenneth's former colleagues and clients. I told them, truthfully, that I'd discovered Kenneth had hidden his terminal illness and had made financial transfers without my knowledge. I asked them if they knew anything about it. Word spread quickly in Kenneth's professional circle. People started talking. Third, I made an appointment with Patricia's parish priest. Patricia was deeply religious, attended church every Sunday, was active in community charity work. I told the priest, in confidence, about the money Kenneth had hidden and given away, about how I'd been left with almost nothing, about the emails showing it had been planned deliberately. The priest couldn't share what I'd told him, but I knew Patricia would hear about it. Small communities talk. Guilt spreads. Fourth, and most importantly, I staged my inheritance. I had Rebecca draft a fake document. It looked like a page from Kenneth's will, a will I claimed to have just discovered hidden in his office. The page detailed a secret trust Kenneth had established years ago, a trust worth over $2 million, meant to be revealed only after his death. According to this fake document, the trust was to be split evenly between me and Justin, but only if Justin could prove he'd acted honorably with all previous gifts from Kenneth. The document was completely fabricated. There was no trust, no $2 million, but Justin didn't know that. I had Marcus accidentally leave a copy of this document where Justin's girlfriend would find it. She worked at a coffee shop Marcus frequented. He struck up a conversation, mentioned he was working on an estate case, left his briefcase open with the document visible while he went to the bathroom. Predictable as clockwork, she took a photo of it. 3 days later, Justin called me for the first time since Kenneth's funeral. "Evelyn, we need to talk." "About what, Justin?" "About Uncle Kenneth's estate. I heard there might be additional assets." "Oh? Where did you hear that?" A pause. Around. People are talking. People are talking about a lot of things, Justin. They're talking about how you received $400,000 from Kenneth right before he died. They're talking about emails where Kenneth told you to stonewall me. They're talking about elder financial abuse. That's not... He gave me that money willingly. He wanted me to have it. Did he? Or did you pressure a dying man into giving you his life savings? I didn't pressure anyone. Then prove it, because right now, the story going around Kenneth's professional circle is that you manipulated a sick old man, that you isolated him from his wife and convinced him to hand over everything he had. That's conspiracy to commit fraud, Justin. That's elder abuse. And depending on how aggressive I want to be with lawyers, that could be criminal. Silence on the other end. But, I continued, I'm willing to forget all of it. I'm willing to make sure no charges are filed, no lawsuits are pursued, no criminal investigations are opened, on one condition. What condition? You return the money Kenneth transferred to you. All of it. Every cent. I can't do that. I've made investments. I've bought things. Then uninvest. Sell the things. I don't care how you get the money, Justin. But if you want access to Kenneth's actual inheritance, the trust he set up that's worth over $2 million, you'll need to prove you're worthy of it. What trust? The one Kenneth established 15 years ago. The one you apparently don't know about because he didn't trust you enough to tell you. The one that requires you to have acted with honor and integrity regarding all previous gifts in order to qualify as a beneficiary. I could hear him breathing heavily on the other end of the line. If you return the $400,000, you'll qualify for the trust. You'll receive over $1 million, Justin. But if you keep the money you pressured Kenneth into giving you, you'll get nothing. And you'll probably face legal consequences. I need to think about this. You have 1 week. After that, I'm filing lawsuits, criminal complaints, all of it. I hung up. For 6 days, I heard nothing. Then on the 7th day, Rebecca called. "Evelyn, you're not going to believe this. Justin's attorney just contacted me. He wants to negotiate a settlement." "What kind of settlement?" "He's offering to return $350,000 in exchange for a signed release, saying you won't pursue any legal action." $350,000. Not the full $400, but close enough. Tell him $375,000 and I want it within 30 days. Rebecca laughed. "You're a natural negotiator." "I'm a woman who was married to an accountant for 43 years. I learned a few things." Justin agreed. The money was returned in 2 installments over the next month. Every cent was deposited back into an account in my name only. When it was done, Rebecca called with a question. "So what are you going to do about the trust?" "What trust?" "The $2 million trust you told Justin about." I smiled. "Rebecca, there is no trust. There never was." Silence on the phone. Then quietly, "You made it up?" "I staged it, just like you suggested. I made Justin believe there was something bigger at stake, something worth more than what he'd stolen. And it worked." "Evelyn, that's brilliant. And possibly illegal, is it?" "I didn't file any false documents. I didn't commit fraud. I simply let Justin believe something that wasn't true. And he made his own decision based on that belief." Rebecca was quiet for a moment. "Did you at least tell him there's no trust?" "No. Let him wonder. Let him spend the rest of his life thinking he missed out on a $2 million inheritance because he was greedy. Maybe it'll teach him something." 6 months later, I was sitting in my kitchen, the same kitchen where I'd opened that devastating bank statement, drinking coffee and reading the newspaper. The $375,000 was safely invested in accounts Kenneth would never have access to. Not that he could, being dead, but the money was mine now, truly mine. Patricia called once, about 3 months after Justin returned the money. She was furious. "You lied about the trust. You manipulated Justin into giving back money that was rightfully his." "Patricia, Kenneth lied to me for 3 years about dying. He manipulated our joint savings into an account I didn't know about. He gave away our retirement to your son without telling me. I'd say we're even." "This isn't Christian behavior, Evelyn. Neither is stealing from your wife and leaving her destitute. But Kenneth did it anyway, and you helped him by encouraging Justin to keep the money. Justin is traumatized by what you did. He thought he was going to get millions. He made plans based on that." "Good. Maybe he'll think twice before accepting stolen money from dying relatives." She hung up on me. We haven't spoken since. I used some of the recovered money to hire a financial advisor, a woman my age who understood what it was like to suddenly be responsible for money you'd never managed before. She helped me set up accounts, create a budget, plan for the future Kenneth had tried to steal from me. I also used $50,000 to establish a real trust. Not for Justin, obviously, but for 3 women's organizations that help widows navigate financial systems after their husbands die. The trust provides free financial consulting for women who've been left without resources or knowledge. I named it the Evelyn Palmer Financial Literacy Trust. Kenneth would have hated that his money, because it was his money in his mind, was going to help other women avoid what happened to me. That makes it even more satisfying. 1 year after Kenneth's death, I sold our house. It was too big for one person, and it held too many memories of a marriage that turned out to be built on lies. I bought a smaller condo near the city. It's bright, modern, mine in a way the old house never was. I also started teaching financial literacy classes at the community center. Basic budgeting, understanding bank accounts, how to spot financial manipulation. The classes are always full. Turns out there are a lot of women my age who let their husbands handle everything and are now paying the price. During one class, a woman raised her hand. "How do you trust anyone after what happened to you?" I thought about it carefully before answering. I don't think it's about trust. Trust is what I gave Kenneth. Blind, complete, unquestioning. What I should have had was verification. Trust, but verify. Know where your money is. Know what accounts exist. Know what's being done in your name. That's not distrust. That's self-protection. The woman nodded slowly. "What about your nephew? Do you regret what you did to get the money back?" "Justin isn't my nephew. He's Kenneth's nephew. And no, I don't regret it. He took money that wasn't his. He knew it wasn't his. The emails proved that. I just used the same tactics Kenneth and Justin used on me: deception, manipulation, strategic planning. The difference is I was recovering what was rightfully mine. They were stealing it." Another woman spoke up. "But you lied about the trust." "I did, and I'd do it again. Because sometimes when people steal from you using legal loopholes, you have to get creative to get it back. The legal system isn't always set up to protect women in situations like mine. So I protected myself. After class, several women came up to thank me. One of them, a widow in her 70s, pressed a piece of paper into my hand. "My husband did the same thing," she whispered. "Gave everything to his son from his first marriage. Left me with nothing. I was too scared to fight back. But you weren't. Thank you for showing us it's possible." I still have that piece of paper. It's a reminder that I'm not alone, that Kenneth's betrayal wasn't unique, that there are thousands of women who've been told they're just housewives while their husbands systematically strip them of security.